Strategy 13, hit them where it hurts, the center of gravity strategy. What if I told you that most people don't lose because their opponent is stronger? They lose because they attack the wrong thing. Think about it. Imagine you're fighting a giant tree. You can spend hours cutting its branches, one branch, another, then another, but the tree is still standing. Why? Because you are attacking everything except the thing that actually holding it together. Now imagine you find the root, one piece of attack there, and suddenly the entire problem, that is the idea. Strategy 16 from Robert Greene's 33 Strategies of War. Don't attack everything. Find the center of gravity. Find the thing that gives the other side its strength and hit it that. Because sometimes the difference between winning and losing isn't how hard you fight, it is where you choose to fight. And once you understand this strategy, you all start seeing it everywhere, in school, in business, in work, in competition, in argument, in even everyday life. So let's understand strategy 16 with simple examples. Let's start with the one simple question: what is the center of gravity? In strategy, the center of gravity is a critical source of strength that keeps the larger system powerful, stable, and functional. It could be a leader, money, information, public support, and key employee, or a supply chain. It could even someone's confident. The mistake most people make is looking at the entire opponent and thinking, how do I defeat all of this? That's the wrong question. The better question is, what is the thing that all of this possible? Find that, then concentrate your energy there. Because if you attack 10 different places with the 10% of your energy, you might accomplish nothing. But if you identify the critical point and put the most of your resources there, your effort becomes much more powerful. This is why this strategy called hit it where it hurts. Not everywhere, not randomly, where it matches. The branches versus the root. Imagine a company beating in a market. They have better advertising, more employees, more followers, more money, more customers. You look at all of this and think, I have to compete with everything, but maybe you don't. Maybe their entire operation depends on one thing. Maybe they have a brilliant product. Maybe they have extremely loyal customer base. Maybe one exclusive makes nearly every important decision. Maybe and their advantage comes from technology that nobody has. That is your center of gravity. If you waste your energy copying every little thing they do, you'll always be left behind. But if you understand the source of their advantage, you can change the entire game. This is the most strategic mindset. Don't fight the entire machine. If you can disrupt the gear turning machine, and this principle is useful beyond actual warfare. Example, the school competition. Let's say there are two students preparing for the same exam. Student A looks at the entire syllabus and panics. There is mathematics, science, history, English, and hundreds of chapters. So he studies randomly, 1 hour here, then there, and etc. He keeps watching the subject, he works hard, but results barely improve. Now student B, he takes different approach. She takes different approach. She looks at her previous test. She noticed something. Every time she loses marks, it's because of mathematics. Especially she keeps making mistakes in algebra. So instead of spending equal time on everything, she defines the problem. Algebra is the center of gravity. She spends next 2 weeks attacking at the weakness. She practices exact question types, reviews every mistake, gets feedback and repeat. And suddenly her scores jumps. Notice what happened. She didn't completely different student. She didn't study 12 hours every day. She simply stopped attacking everything equally. She found the point that was costing her the most and concentrate there. That's the strategy. In the work, now imagine you're working in a team. There is a major project. Your team keeps missing the deadline. People immediately starts blaming everyone. Market is slow. Design is slow. Management doesn't communicate. Finance takes long. Everyone has their theory. So the manager starts trying to fix everything at once. More meetings, emails, rules, spreadsheet, more pressure, and nothing changes. Then someone investigates how actual work flow. They discover that most every department is waiting for his approval for the one person. That person has 20 different tasks every day. Suddenly the problem becomes obvious. The center of gravity isn't the entire team. It's the bottleneck. Fix that one point. Delegate some decisions, create faster approval system, and suddenly 5 other problems disappear automatically. Why? Because those problems were connected to the same source. This is the one of the most important lessons of the strategy. An invisible problem isn't always the real problem. Sometimes you are looking at the symptoms created by one cause. Find the cause. In business, imagine two restaurants competing in a same neighborhood. Restaurant A versus restaurant B. Restaurant B is getting more customers. They copy everything. They change the menu, they change the social media style, they run advertisement, lower pricing and delivery, changes the interior, but they are still losing. Why? Because they never asked why customers are actually prefer the competitor. Then they discovered something interesting. People aren't going there because of the menu. They are going because the restaurant is famous for a specific dish. That's the center of gravity. One dish created the reputation, and the reputation created the word of mouth. Word of mouth created the customers. Customers created the revenue, and revenue created expansion. So instead of fighting the entire business, the competitors should understand the real source of attraction. Maybe they create a better version of their own signature product. Maybe they target completely different customer segment. Maybe they build their own reputation around something stronger. The lesson isn't copy your competitor. The lesson is understand what makes your competitor difficult to beat. A social conflict. Now let's make this more personal. Imagine you're arguing with someone. They keep provoking you. You respond, they respond, you respond again, then suddenly you're spending the 30 of minutes defeating yourself. Then another argument starts, then another. You are fighting every sentence. And the conversation becomes exhausted. But what if you stop? What if you ask, what is this person actually trying to achieve? Maybe they want an emotional reaction. They want attention. They want you to become angry so they can control conversation. If the emotional reaction is the source of influence, your reaction becomes the center of gravity. And once you understand that, you stop giving them you don't answer every calculation. You don't have to prove every point, argument. The sometimes most strategic move is to remove the thing that giving the conflict energy. Again, don't fight every battle. Find what makes the battle possible. In sports, imagine a football team with the 10 average players, one extraordinary playmaker. Every attack goes through him. Every important passes come from him. Every dangerous opportunity begins with him. Now imagine the opposing team notices this. They don't notice that defeating every player individually, they can change their defective structure. They reduce their player influence. They the entire team may still be talented, but suddenly their attack becomes less effective. Why? Because the one person was functioning as the center of gravity. This doesn't mean attacking the weakest person, it's actually the opposite. You identify the important source of strength, then you understand how much the entire system depends on it. That is the difference between random aggression and strategic thinking. Example 6, social media. Here is another example. Almost everybody can understand this. Imagine you're trying to grow on social media. You post videos, get low views. You start changing everything. New thumbnails, title, hashtag, music, upload times, camera, microphone. You change everything, but nothing improves. Then you look at your analytics, then discover something. People are clicking your videos, but they leave after the first 20 seconds. Now you know the problem. It's not your microphone, camera, hashtags and everything. It's your hook is weak. That is why your center of gravity. Fix the first 20 seconds, improve the opening, remove the unnecessary introductions, create curiosity immediately, and suddenly resistance improves, retention improves, then views improves. You didn't fix 20 of things, you found one important thing that was affecting everything else. That is the power of concentration. But there is a deeper lesson here. Strategy 16 isn't simply about finding someone's weakness, it's about understanding the dependency. Ask yourself, what is this entire system is depend on? That much powerful question. A business may be dependent on supplier, a project may be dependent on specialist, a team may be dependent on a leader, a student's performance may depend on the fundamentals. A creator's growth may depend on the audience retention. A person's confidence may depend on extreme validation. And sometimes your own life may depend on habit. So before you attack problem, map it. Don't immediately react. Step back, look at the system. What cause? What supports? What disappears if the part disappears? Then ask, where is the leverage? Because leverage is what makes strategy powerful. You don't always need more focus. Sometimes you need better positioning. The big mistake here is where people get this strategy wrong. Hit them where it hurts. They think I should find someone's weakness and destroy them. No, that is too simplistic. The real lesson is concentrate your effort. Factor that matters the most. That could mean attacking opponent's advantage. That could also mean solving your own bottleneck. It could even mean improving strongest asset. It could even mean removing the obstacle blocking you from the progress. Strategic thinking isn't about being aggressive at all. It's about being selective. So wherever you find your face in whenever you face a difficult situation, ask yourself a 3 question. Number 1, what is actually causing the problem? Not the symptom, not the cause. Don't say my grades are bad. Ask why. Don't say my business isn't growing. Ask why. Don't say my team is falling. Ask where exactly is the breakdown. Go deeper. Question 2. What is the critical point holding the system together? Find the dependency, person, resources, skills, process, belief, habit, information. What is the single factor outside affects everything? That is where your attention belongs. Question 3. Can concentrate Can I concentrate my resources there? Because identifying the center of gravity isn't enough. You have to act. If you have found the problem out, continue spending your effort everywhere, nothing changes. Take your time, attention, money, energy, people, skills, and concentrate them where they'll create the biggest impact. Final example in your life. Let's say you want to completely change your life. You make a huge list: exercise, books, language, business, study more, wake up early, meditate, eat better, build confidence, learn communication, improve your social life, and after 3 days you quit because you tried attacking everything similarly. Instead, ask what one thing that would make other changes easier, like fixing your sleep, removing the constant distraction. Maybe it's building a consistent daily routine. Maybe it's learning a valuable skill. Maybe it's getting control over your schedule. Find the fundamental point, then fix it first. Then the momentum attacks next problem. You don't need to conquer the entire war field today. You need to control the point that changes the war field. Conclusion. So remember the strategy 16. Hit them where it hurts. Find the center of gravity. Don't waste your energy attacking every branch. Find the root. Don't argue with every symptom. Find the cause. Don't compete everything that opponent has. Find what creates their advantage. Don't try to improve every part of your life similarly. Find the one thing that holds everything back, because the strongest strategist isn't always the person with the most of the resources. Sometimes it's the person who knows exactly where to use them. The next time you face a difficult problem, don't immediately ask, how do I fight this? Stop. Look at the entire system and ask, what is holding all of this together? Once you find that, you have found the center of gravity, and when you know where is all of the real point is, you don't need to fight anywhere. You only need to act where it matters. That is the strategy 16. Don't attack everything. Attack what makes it everything possible.